The rain fell steadily across the cracked stone arena of Jarkai Citadel, a fortress older than most civilizations. Standing in the center was Commander Jason Ward, soaked and grim, gripping the hilt of his earth-forged plasma blade. He hadn't come to this alien world to fight. He was a peace envoy, carrying a diplomatic message. But now he was facing General Thrakta, undefeated warlord of the Karani Empire. Jason exhaled slowly, focusing. The towering alien opposite him snarled, armor shimmering with blue energy veins. His four-fingered hand tightening around a jagged battle axe. Thrak's voice boomed across the arena. You dare speak to Princess Arachin without ritual. You insult our bloodline. Jason glanced toward the royal platform. There, Princess Arachin stood tall, her violet skin radiant even in the storm. Her silver eyes met his not with anger, but curiosity. I didn't come here to insult anyone, Jason shouted. But if this fight must happen, I won't die quietly. With a roar, Thrak charged. Jason barely dodged the first swing, his boots skidding across the wet stone. Sparks flew as plasma blade met alien steel. Each clash echoed through the walls of the citadel, drawing gasps from the Karani crowd. Jason's muscles burned, his breath ragged, but he moved with precision, a product of years in Earth's special forces. Thrak fought with brute strength, but Jason relied on speed and timing. After minutes of relentless combat, Thrak raised his axe high for a final strike. Jason slid under the arc, pivoted, and drove his blade clean through the alien's chest. Thrak collapsed in a heap, his blood steaming against the stone. Silence then. Princess Arachan descended from her platform, surrounded by royal guards. She approached Jason and stopped just feet away. You have slain our guardian in sacred trial, she said softly. By our ancient law, the victor becomes the chosen consort of the royal line. Jason blinked. Come again. You are now by right, my king. Jason stared at Princess Arachin, water dripping from his soaked jacket, his sword still humming faintly in his hand. Around them, the Karani spectators were bowing not to Arachan, but to him. A human, a stranger, was now their king by ancient law. This is a misunderstanding, Jason said, backing away slightly. I didn't come here to take a throne. I came to deliver a treaty. Ren's eyes didn't waver. You fought under sacred law. You claimed victory in the trial of bonded blood. The crown is yours. To refuse it would be to shame the entire empire. Jason exhaled sharply, glancing at the fallen warlord, then at the dozens of eyes watching him in silent expectation. This is insane. Rachan stepped closer. You do not understand our ways, but you fought with honor. You spared our shame. If you walk away now, the empire will collapse into civil war. The nobles will tear the throne apart. Jason rubbed his face with one hand. You're serious? I am bound by law and blood, she replied, as are you now. Later, inside the royal chamber, an elegant room, lined with silks and glowing crystal vines, Jason sat on the edge of a low platform bed, trying to make sense of everything. Arachan stood across from him, arms crossed over her ceremonial cloak. You'll be expected to attend the binding ceremony, she said, her voice calm but firm. It will formalize your place. I don't want a place, Jason said, rubbing the back of his neck. I just want to go home. Then you should have let yourself be killed. He looked up. That's cold. That's our law. A long silence stretched between them. I didn't want this, he said finally. Neither did I, Arachan replied. But here we are. The next morning, Jason awoke to unfamiliar sounds, distant horns, murmuring servants, the hum of alien technology. One of the royal attendants, a woman named Kayla, with deep blue skin and glowing eyes, entered quietly. Your presence is requested in the temple hall, she said, bowing. Princess Arachan awaits. Jason dressed slowly in the robes they'd left for him, gray fabric, lined with silver threads, soft and warm. He felt like a prop in someone else's ceremony, a puppet king for a people he didn't understand. In the temple hall, hundreds had gathered. The chamber shimmered with energy, lined with floating glyphs and ancestral banners. Arachan stood at the altar, her royal maids surrounding her in formation. Each woman carried a ceremonial dagger, symbol of loyalty and surrender. Jason approached, slowly. Arachan met his eyes. "Speak your intent," she said. Jason looked around, took a breath, and said, "I have no desire to rule your people, but I won't abandon them either. I'll honor your customs. I'll protect your home. I'll be what you need, even if I never asked to be." The room stirred. Arachan nodded, then lifted the dagger to her palm and drew a line of blood. One by one, her maids did the same. Then she extended her hand to Jason. "This is not a surrender," she said. "This is an alliance." Jason took her hand. The moment their palms touched, the glyphs on the walls ignited. A golden light swirled around them, binding them in front of the Empire. When the light faded, Arachan turned to face the crowd. "All hail the human king," she said. And the crowd roared in one voice, their fists raised to the sky. Jason had no idea what came next. But somehow, in this alien hall, under foreign stars, he'd become something more than just a soldier or messenger. He'd become legend. 3 days had passed since Jason became king of the Karani Empire, and he still hadn't fully accepted it. The palace was vast, with endless hallways filled with shimmering alien stone and floating torches. Everywhere he walked, guards bowed, servants whispered, and nobles stared. He felt like a stranger in every room. Princess Arachan remained distant. She performed her duties beside him, standing during ceremonies, offering brief counsel in meetings, but the warmth was absent. It was clear she hadn't wanted this either. Her loyalty to tradition seemed stronger than her desire for connection. Jason tried to understand their culture. He spent hours with scribes, learning about Karani law and rituals. He sparred with soldiers in the courtyard, earning their respect with his quick reflexes and unpredictable style. He even dined with Ren's inner circle, though the alien food and formal customs made him uncomfortable. But beneath the surface, something felt off. He noticed it first in the halls, servants scurrying faster than usual, guards speaking in hushed tones, glances exchanged when they thought he wasn't looking. Arachan grew quieter each evening, her face troubled when she thought no one was watching. Late one night, Jason found Kayla waiting outside his chamber. Her normally composed face was tense. "Walk with me," she whispered. They moved through the darkened halls in silence until they reached a quiet balcony overlooking the city. The twin moons of Karan hung in the sky like glowing eyes. Below them, lights from the streets flickered like stars. "There are rumors," Kayla said. "The High Council meets in secret. Some of the nobles do not accept you as king. They say you've tainted the bloodline." Jason's jaw tightened. "I never asked for a crown. They say you tricked the system, that you used our laws against us, that you planned to take the heart of rule." He frowned. "The what?" Kayla looked around, then stepped closer. "An artifact, older than our empire. It's said to awaken only for those with pure blood and a warrior's soul. If it recognizes you, the crown will be yours, by divine right, not just tradition." Jason laughed under his breath. "Magic rocks and sacred light. I came here to deliver a peace agreement, and now you're a symbol of everything our world fears," Kayla said softly. "Change." The next morning, Jason confronted Arachan in the council chamber. "You should have told me about this artifact." She didn't look surprised. "It's not something spoken of lightly. The heart hasn't awakened in generations. Not even for my father, but it might for me." Ren's expression darkened. If it does, it will shake the Empire. Many fear what you represent. Jason walked closer. What about you, do you? There was a pause. Then, quietly, I fear how I feel about you. I fear what that means. Jason didn't know how to answer, so he stepped back. I want to see the heart. Later that day, Kayla guided him to the inner vaulted chamber, buried beneath the palace, protected by ancient energy locks, and guarded by the royal guard. The heart of rule rested on a pedestal of black stone. It was a crystal sphere, swirling with silver mist, pulsing faintly with inner light. Jason stepped forward. The air thickened. The room fell silent. He reached out. The moment his fingers touched the surface, the crystal exploded with pure golden light that filled the entire vault. Kayla gasped. The guards dropped to one knee. The sphere lifted into the air and rotated, casting his reflection in every direction. When the light faded, the heart settled gently back onto the pedestal. Its glow now constant. Kayla whispered, "It has chosen you." Jason looked at his hands, still trembling. He hadn't done anything special. He'd just touched it. Rachin entered the chamber moments later. Her eyes widened at the sight of the glowing heart. "So it's true," she said. Jason turned to her. "What happens now?" "You are no longer king by accident," Rachin said. "You are king by destiny." Jason swallowed. "Then I'll need to act like it." Because whatever came next, he could feel it. Change was coming fast, and not all of it would be welcome. The palace was no longer silent. Since the heart of rule had chosen Jason, the energy in the halls had shifted. Servants moved faster. Guards whispered. Courtiers bowed more deeply but avoided eye contact. The ancient laws had declared him king by right, but tradition was not the same as trust. Princess Arachin met with Jason more often now. Their conversations were longer, less formal. She began to teach him about their history, not just the sacred laws, but the unspoken struggles of keeping a crumbling empire together. The nobles fear change, she told him one evening as they walked the gardens. You are that change. Not because of your strength, but because you were not born of Karani blood, and yet the heart chose you. Jason nodded. They see me as a virus. Some, she agreed. Others see you as a cura. That night, a council was held in the Hall of Stars. Nobles from across the empire had arrived. The chamber shimmered with light from floating crystals, and the mood was sharp with tension. Jason stood beside Arachin at the throne dais, his posture steady, his mind racing. The High Chancellor, an elder named Sorix, stepped forward. His robes shimmered with layers of status glyphs. The heart may have chosen him, Sorix said slowly, but blood cannot be faked. His kind are not of this world. How do we know this isn't a trick? A foreign weapon designed to control our sacred relic. Jason didn't flinch. I didn't come to rule you. I came to stop a war. Your laws put me here. The heart confirmed it. But I'm not asking for blind obedience. Just a chance to help. Another noble, a younger woman named Valen, stood. He faced our warlord in fair combat. The law is clear. So is the artifact's will. We cannot pick and choose when tradition serves us. A fierce argument broke out, words in both Karani and English, shouting, slamming fists. Jason watched it spiral until Arachin raised her hand. The hall fell silent. If any doubt remains, she said, then let it be answered by the only measure we all respect. Jason turned to her, confused. What measure? She looked at him. Battle. A murmur spread. Sorix smirked. Yes, let him face our final trial, the arena of bloodlines. Let him survive that, and no voice shall speak against him again. Jason exhaled slowly. You knew this would happen. I hoped it wouldn't, Arachin said quietly. But I know our people. This is the only way to silence them. The arena of bloodlines was older than any city in the empire. A deep pit, carved into sacred rock, lined with spikes and ancient glyphs that glowed when blood was spilled. Jason stood at its edge the next morning, armored in traditional Karani combat gear. It was lighter than Earth armor, but sharper, more responsive. Across the pit, a gate groaned open. The creature that emerged wasn't a warrior, it was a monster. 12 feet tall, 6 limbs, spiked tail, a weapon of the old wars. The crowd above roared. Jason gritted his teeth. Of course, the beast lunged. Jason rolled aside, his blade flashing. Sparks flew as he struck one of its armored legs. It screamed high-pitched and furious before lashing at him with its tail. He barely ducked in time. Minutes passed, in a blur of dodges, strikes, and desperate instincts. Jason's breath came hard. He used the Taranclan, a fallen pillar, dove from above, wedged his blade into the beast's back joint, and twisted. It shrieked again and slammed him too. The ground pain exploded through his chest. But as the beast reared back for the kill, Jason gritted his teeth, grabbed a broken spear shaft, and drove it through the creature's eye. The crowd went silent as the monster collapsed, its death throes echoing through the pit. Jason stood, bloodied but alive. He raised one fist, and for the first time, the crowd did not cheer out of fear or ceremony. They cheered from AW. Later, in the healing chamber, Rajan sat beside him. "You've done what no outsider has ever done," she said. Jason looked at her, breathing slow. "Does that mean they accept me now?" She nodded. "They may not love you yet, but they can no longer deny you." Jason chuckled. "I'll take it." But outside, in the highest towers, Sorix and 2 other nobles whispered in the shadows. "If strength won't break him," Sorix hissed, "we'll find another way." A storm was brewing in. Jason's greatest challenge hadn't even begun. The capital city of Karan slept uneasily under the red glow of its twin moons. In the high towers of the citadel, darkness crept in ways no blade could guard against. Sorix, the High Chancellor, moved swiftly through the hidden corridors with 2 cloaked nobles at his side. His voice was low, urgent. "He's passed every trial," Sorix growled. "The heart chose him. The people cheer his name, but he is not one of us." "What do you propose?" one noble asked. "Poison, assassins, anything, before he breeds with the royal line and dooms our purity forever." Unaware of the plot above, Jason sat quietly in the royal chambers, watching the flames flicker in a bronze hearth. His ribs ached from the arena, but his spirit was steadier than ever. Across the room, Princess Arachin poured a dark liquid into 2 small cups. "It's traditional," she said softly, handing one to him. "After surviving the arena of bloodlines, a bond of respect, and beginning." He took it, meeting her silver gaze. There was something gentler in her now, no longer the untouchable royal, just a woman carrying too much duty for too long. "Is this the part where you tell me we're officially married?" he said with a smile. Rachan smiled back. "Not married, not yet, but joined. In the eyes of the heart and our people." Jason raised his cup. 2 strange destinies. They drank. Within minutes, chaos erupted. Outside, pulse of dark energy surged from the tower's shockwave that shattered windows and collapsed walls. Screams rang out as guards clashed with intruders in the halls. Jason staggered to his feet, the effects of the drink hitting him like a hammer. Rachan collapsed, eyes wide with shock. Jason caught her before she hit the ground. "Arachan," Kaela burst in moments later, blades drawn. "Sorix has betrayed us." He released the shadow beasts from the vault. Jason laid Arachan gently on the floor, her breath shallow but alive. "Keep her safe," he ordered. "I'll deal with Sorix." Kaela didn't argue. She pressed a hand to Ren's chest, whispering ancient words as healing energy glowed beneath her fingers. Jason grabbed his sword and sprinted into the burning halls. The palace was under siege, not from soldiers, but from summoned horrors. Shadow beasts slithered through corridors, tearing apart guards. Black smoke twisted through the air, alive and hungry. Jason fought his way forward, his blade slicing through darkness that screamed as it died. He reached the council chamber to find Soryx standing before the Heart of Rule, trying to force its light into a vessel of obsidian. The artifact pulsed erratically, resisting his touch. "You're too late," Soryx sneered. "I've cut your bloodline before it could spread, and now I take the heart." Jason didn't waste words. He lunged. The fight was savage. Soryx was no warrior, but the shadows obeyed him, striking from every angle. Jason fought with fury, born of loyalty, pain, and something deeper bond. He felt Ren's heartbeat in his chest, the will of the people, the pull of the heart, and when Soryx struck, with a blade made of pure night, Jason didn't dodge. He caught it with his gauntlet, screamed through the pain, and drove his sword into the Chancellor's chest. Soryx collapsed. The shadow screamed once, and then evaporated like mist under sunlight. The Heart of Rule floated upward, glowing brighter than ever. Then it slowly descended into Jason's hands, warm and pulsing. Back in the royal chamber, Rachin sat upright, coughing. Her color had returned. When Jason returned, bloodied and burned, she rushed to meet him. "You're alive?" she whispered. "So are you," he said, touching her cheek. She looked down at his hands. "The heart. It's ours now," Jason said. Truly. The following day, on the palace steps, the people of Koran gathered as the sun broke over the horizon. Jason stood beside Arachan as she raised the heart before the crowd. Its light pulsed across the city, into every home and soul. "The empire endures," she declared, "but it does not remain unchanged. Our king is not Karani by blood but by spirit. He is more one of us than many who sit in these towers." Jason stepped forward. "You didn't choose me. I didn't choose this. But I'll protect it with my life, if I have to, because I believe in what this can become." Cheers rose like thunder. Later, in the quiet of the garden, Jason and Arachan stood alone. "So," he said, "what now?" "We rebuild," Arachan answered. "Together, and us." She smiled. "We figure that out, day by day." Jason took her hand, and this time, she didn't pull away. Under twin moons and the heart's gentle light, the empire looked to a future. Born from battle, bound by choice, and ruled by something far stronger than law, hope.